So somebody on my Discord server suggested this one. If you like suggestions, if you want to leave a suggestion of your own in the Discord server, you must join the Discord server using the link in the description below, or the QR code that Dubsy likes to leave on the screen, which might be here, or here. Or probably not here because that would be off the screen, but probably over here because I pointed the wrong direction. Anyway, you get the point. Wilfer. This is apparently a fellow that the person who suggested this used to watch, and he kind of went off the deep end to the right. So let's take a look at what he's got to say. Reacting to leftist meltdowns in my comments. So I actually want to take a look at his first video, how he became alt-right. This is the one I want. Okay, this is the one I want. Here, let me look at his YouTube description real quick.
Situation. And I tried.
Oh my lord, this dude? Uh-oh. I mean, he's got 2.69 million subscribers, nice.
So I made a video a few days ago talking about the whole J.K. Rowling versus Emma Watson situation, and I tried to approach the topic with as much diplomacy and common sense as I possibly can. At the same
He's a good
time,
artist.
I didn't.
Sorry. Can I? What is going on?
Hide
No.
my own
Oh my god.
Personal bias, which is normal.
This is
A human being.
unacceptable. Acceptable, YouTube. Holy shit.
Apparently, I'm an alt-right grifter now? I swear to God I can see the right wing shifting you. Damn, Andre, since when are your videos so skewed towards the right? Not sure why I even subscribed to this guy. He has clearly been leaning more right over time. Time to finally unsubscribe. Have you become an alt-right grifter? That is honestly sad to see. So I'm here thinking, wait, what did I say in the video that got people so riled up? My like to dislike ratio has—
So he has no idea why people are saying that he's an alt-right grifter. If we're taking him at his word, he doesn't know why. Like, he doesn't see himself as that.
Hasn't been this disastrous since the 9-year-olds thought I was sponsored by T-Series. The short answer is that I'm apparently, quote-unquote, not educated enough on the trans issue. The long answer, as most—
Okay, so here's the thing. We've, one, called him an alt-right grifter, and two, told him that he's not educated enough on the trans thing. That's not what an alt-right grifter necessarily is. It might be, but if that's the case, then clearly they just need a little bit more education, right? I'm just throwing that out there.
Things in life is a tad more nuanced. So let's try to clear things up a bit. One of the most watched videos on my channel is called How I Became an Animator. Other than that one video, I don't really care to share much of my private life, so if you want to know anything about me, that's a good place to start. With this video, I'm gonna try to add a little more context. So I come from a place with a very traditional culture, where values have been passed down for generations, and where people tend to hold on to certain principles that define and hold their communities together. That stands in contrast to much of the Western culture, where rapid modernization and progressivist politics have heavily influenced social identity.
Yeah, but in what direction? Like, you have to make an argument as to whether this is good progress or bad. Just because something is traditional doesn't make it good. Like, human sacrifice was traditional in a lot of cultures. You know, I wouldn't consider that a good thing to keep. There are plenty of traditional practices and cultural practices that need to be done away with.
People don't usually talk about ideology, they just live by what they know. The core principles over here are much more homogeneous. You'll find a strong sense of continuity, stability, and respect for things that have stood the test of time. It's not something people debate. So because tradition is so deeply rooted into the culture, making the two almost synonymous, people here tend to hold their traditional values sacred. Though Western influences of progressivism sometimes do creep in, these principles form a solid wall that has yet to be breached. Now, there was a comment on one of my videos that I think captures this very well. He goes, most Americans in this comment section forget that there's a world outside of the US where even now the general population have more conservative views. End quote. I feel like Americans, and particularly—
Hold on, I gotta read that again, one sec. Most Americans in this comment section forget that there's a world outside of us where even now the general population has more conservative views.
Have more conservative views. End quote. I feel like Americans, and particularly—
Yeah, but I'm still gonna call them out for how shitty they are. Having traditional views does not give you license, bruv, to, like, do whatever you want or say whatever you want. You can't just hide behind your traditional views.
Left-leaning Americans are quite ignorant to how other people live.
You have to have a reason for why you do it.
And to some extent, I get it. Why should they care? After all, Americans make up just 4% of the world population, but account for about 25% of the global GDP, exporting everything from technology to blockbuster movies, while importing very little in return, especially when it comes to culture. This self-sufficiency makes total sense in a bubble, but then you get conundrums like these, where they force-feed progressive ideas to culture cultures that are simply just not wired for them. I've never personally known a trans person and probably never will at this point in my life. And that's not because I'm intolerant or I'm a horrible person, but that's just not a regular thing around here, and I have other priorities in life than to go to seek them out myself. So if you're looking for a trans ally in
Hold on.
Intolerant,
I want to point something out.
Ideas to cultures that are simply just not wired for them. I've never personally known a trans person and probably never will at this.
Never known a trans person. There you go. Trans people, you guys got to be nice to them. I'm not kidding. If trans people start coming out of the woodworks at you out of nowhere just because you gave your opinion on something, and you're just like you're just like being a dude and sitting there like, I've never heard of this thing. What the fuck? Like, this sounds stupid. And then like a bunch of trans people are like, yeah! And they like all jump at you at once. Yeah, you're going to be like, yeah, I don't know if I ever want to meet a trans person now. This is why we must practice radical empathy, guys. We have to. You guys need to understand where he's coming from, okay? And if you fail to do that, you'll never defeat his ideology.
This point in my life. And that's not because I'm intolerant or I'm a horrible person, but that's just not a regular thing around here, and I have other priorities in life than to go to seek them out myself. So if you're looking for a trans ally in me, you're not gonna find one. And again, I'm not saying this to be
It makes perfect sense. I'm sorry, it makes perfect sense. He has never given a single solitary shit about trans people before this J.K. Rowling garbage, okay? And then he finds out J.K. Rowling, the Harry Potter girl, is like getting trounced by trans people. And he's like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is how it happens. We need to stop having a hand in this, okay? We do have a hand in it. If somebody has questions about trans people or has like critiques about like certain things that certain trans people are doing, and then you jump down their throat, this is what happens.
Mean, but it's just mathematics. To be an ally to something means to know that subject, to have real life
this drawing,
with it, or to have some sort of.
This is a guy, like, guys, this guy's a great artist. You don't want him on our side drawing memes and shit. Like, come on.
Skin in the game. I have neither of those things. And in my opinion,
look at his art.
Most of the so-called trans
way better than
allies
mine.
do it either for some sort of financial or reputational benefit, or out of fear of being cancelled, or both. That's why when I listen to J.K. Rowling, for example, her point of view sounds much closer to mine than the outrage around her that floods the internet. I'm not even saying that J.K. Rowling is some sort of angel without a fault, by the way. I don't know her, and quite frankly, I don't care to study every single word that she's ever said on the topic. As for the term alt-right, in my country, there's not even such a thing as left or right. We don't have a two-party system. Political ideology is very scattered.
Did I miss something, Olive?
To mine, that's why when I listen to J.K. Rowling, most of the so-called trans allies do it either for some sort of financial or reputational benefit, or out of fear of being cancelled, or both. That's why
he can't fathom anything else, because the only interaction that he's had with trans people has been negative. He took J.K. Rowling's side once, and now every trans person he's ever known has been a piece of shit to him. That's how it happened. I'm not blaming trans people for him being a bigot, because conversely, now let's turn the tables on you, man. You never took the time to understand, ever. You got one little boo-boo from one little trans person, and you go, oh no, trans people scary. I've met 5 of them, and all of them are angry at me for some reason because I said that J.K. Rowling is fine and good and whatever, even though she is like the single most openly oppositional force to trans people that exists currently. And I said she's fine. It's basically Hitler for trans people. And I said she's cool and whatever. No, they're after me. Oh no, they said I'm being mean. That's you.
When I listen to J.K. Rowling, for example, her point of view sounds much closer to mine than the outrage around her that floods the internet. I'm not even saying that J.K. Rowling is some sort of angel without a fault, by the way. I don't know her, and quite frankly, I don't care to study every single word that she's ever said on
See, you're saying it in the video. You are ignorant. You are ignorant. You have never actually met a trans person. You just know that random ones get mad at you on the internet. Trans people are lovely. I know plenty of them. I can introduce you to them. They are lovely people. I have so many trans people in my audience that I interact with on a daily basis. They're all beautiful, gorgeous people, and they're fantastic. You should spend some time around trans people, honestly, man. That's what I did for right-wingers. If I can do it for your ilk, you can do it for mine.
The topic. As for the term alt-right, in my country, there's not even such a thing as left or right. We don't have a two-party system. Political ideology is very scattered.
Take the time to fucking understand. You can't sit here and make a video like this is garbage, man. This is garbage. I'm just going to be real with you. I understand you're not coming from a bad place. I understand this is not meant to hurt anybody. You're just scared and confused because the mean trans people jumped down your throat because you said that trans Hitler's good. Okay? That's why they did it. You said that trans Hitler is good to them. Now it's your turn. I've empathized with you, man. Now it's your turn.
Parties, with alliances often being made for convenience between factions who should, in theory, stand on opposing sides.
Go spend some time with trans people.
Theoretically fit that quote-unquote
come to my community.
Have more than once voted alongside mainstream parties against the interest of the people when it suited them. So left and right are both foreign concepts here. Don't try to fit me in your categories of left and right because, again, even politically, there's a whole different ecosystem
I just want to talk
where
to
I'm from. Now, I'm not sure if the rigid American two-sided way is a feature or a bug, but what I can say is that from my perspective, as an outsider, it boxes people in.
Yes, thank you for that, Kitty Disc. Same here. What deprogrammed me was spending time around trans people in a fetish community. But that's what deprogrammed me. I was in a community full of trans people.
Very much
not a trans fetish community.
Limits choices for anyone who wants to dive into politics. It also sets up this perfect storm for heavy indoctrination to take root and for individuals on both sides to get constantly pitted against each other. In places like the UK or the US, questions on gender identity are everywhere. Schools talk about it, the media covers it daily, politicians debate it, laws change around it. Transgender people are very much visible. Here, that is not a topic of discussion. It simply isn't.
That's fair. That's fair.
Is the sheer arrogance of some of the more
He needs exposure. He needs trans exposure therapy.
Intense left-leaning people who commented on my previous video. Not all of them, just to be clear, but I'm talking about the type of people who get a sick pleasure from bullying creators into submission.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
true.
bet they expected me to come out with an apology saying something like,
no, listen, YouTube commenters are some of the worst fucking people on the planet when it comes to the things that come out of their mouth, because they're usually the ones that have no sense of control whatsoever. Like me. I had no sense of control in my life, and I was very angry, and I lashed out at everybody all the time for it. Okay? I did it in YouTube comments. I did it in chat messages. I did it in debates. I did it everywhere. Okay? And I'm done lashing out. I'm done being angry. Okay? So I'm not going to lash out at this guy because I think he's coming from an honest place. But man, you're being an idiot. You're an idiot. Okay? I'm just going to say it. You are kind of dumb. So let's get you some trans exposure therapy and maybe we can solve this.
Oh, thank you
just
for
get to know
educating me. Please don't cancel me. And if that's the case, sorry. I'm not afraid of this hive mind mentality. I'm not afraid of being canceled. I've canceled myself by not even being active on YouTube these past few years. And it's the most liberating feeling to not be tied to any commitment, but instead to be able to say whatever I believe to be true. There is nothing you can do to me. Now, I do empathize with people who have followed my content for years, and because I never really spoke about my core values or political views, they may have gotten the wrong impression about what I stand for. And I will admit that at times the leftist propaganda on YouTube even got me fooled, and I may have regurgitated leftist talking points without even realizing it. But as I took a step back, I let all of that wash off of me. So to those who may feel betrayed, I respect your decision to unsubscribe if that's what you want to do. To be honest, I myself was surprised to see how different a portion of my audience sees things. I guess this goes to show how far people's perspectives can drift away when years pass and you don't really keep a steady connection to them. But I'm not even sure what exactly offends them other than the fact that I'm not a carbon copy of the influencers who pander to the leftist echo chamber ideology. And then there is another type of reaction that I got with someone saying I'm too centrist. The last few videos we've returned with
no, he's being called like everything in the book. Oh no.
Feel apathetically centrist. You're unable to take a hard
I mean, but that's not wrong, man. You do come off like that. You come off very apathetic about the things that you're saying. You are talking about topics that you yourself said you're not educated on. Like, let's be so for real here, man. Why the did you make the first J.K. Rowling video in the first place? Clearly you have some interest in trans people, or else you would have just said, what the is this? Trans people on J.K. Rowling? Whatever. Unless you like J.K. Rowling. Is he J.K. Rowling stan? Is that what it is? I guess I could see that. This video is literally, I don't understand, but rather than try to understand, I will bury my head in the sand and continue to live in my own ignorance. Exactly. And that's what we're going to try to deprogram. So, man, if you're watching this or whatever, maybe I'll send you something. I don't know. I just want to talk. To him.
It's wrong and too focused on a neoliberal position of being as in the middle as possible. It's incredibly disappointing. To which someone else replied with, people don't need to have a hard stance on everything. Seeing both sides helps you see the whole picture and not just what you want to see. And I think this really shows the root of the problem. People don't want nuance or genuinely personal opinions. They want to hear ideas that are already established and extreme on one side or the other. Even showing a little consideration for the opposing view is seen seen as weakness. And if you happen to hold a strong opinion, but it lands on the opposite side,
he's not wrong. Wait, he's not wrong. Wait. This is actually a really solid point.
Personal opinions. They want to hear ideas that are
No, listen. You guys need to listen to this right now. This man is speaking truth to power.
So you see the whole picture and not just what you want to see. And I think this really shows the root of the problem. People don't want nuance or genuinely personal opinions. They want to hear ideas that are already established and extreme on one side or the other. Even showing a little consideration for the opposing view is seen as weakness.
He's
and
right.
If you happen to hold a strong opinion, but it lands on...
What happened to the last Metatron video? I made a bet with Metatron that I could find a news article of a British police officer enforcing violence against a Muslim. Did we find one? No, we did not. Guess what I did? You win, Metatron. Here's a good boy point. Like, who gives a shit? Who gives a Move on.
The opposite sides of what
Just
your
admit you're
audience
wrong.
believes, heaven forbid, you're instantly dismissed or condemned. I don't need to make some bold declaration for one side or the other just to be able to discuss a situation that I find interesting. Talking about a public debate.
See, he's one that we could reach very easily, guys. I'm telling you guys, just give it like a month. Give it a month. Literally let him spend some time around some trans people who aren't complete dickbags, okay? Like people who like are self-actualized enough that they understand that he's coming from a good place, genuinely and truly. Okay, just let him spend some time around some of the good ones.
Or analyzing an event doesn't automatically make me part of a movement. It's possible to look at
some
something,
of the good ones,
comment on it, and have your own thoughts without pledging allegiance to anyone's ideology.
I could handle it.
So
there
let's
you go.
Sum everything up. I'm not alt-right or whatever you guys call those who disagree with you.
He doesn't see himself as alt-right,
and I'm also not on the left. Just to be fair to all sides.
Also, for the record, I don't think he sounds like that bad of a guy. He just needs to get on board with like trans people. He needs to stop railing against trans people, and the harder that trans people rail against him, the worse it's going to get. But he also has a responsibility to open his mind, okay? You also are suffering from the same illness that you yourself said trans people and their ilk suffer from, right? I'm just saying.
Here. I'm just a guy from the other side of the world with my own life experience, my own culture, my
own
principles.
Open your mind. Open thine mind.
Sometimes voice my opinions over here. I'm not even asking you to...
I like this little rooster he's got going on here. It's a very, like... I'm about to do bad things because I'm bad and naughty. I am evil on the inside. The guy holding me may not be, but I am.
To agree with anything that I say. If you want to watch, that's great. If you don't, then there's plenty of creators to fill that void for you. But I will not be bullied into saying things that I don't believe in, or be apologetic for my opinions either. And if I'm cancelled, whatever that even means, then I will simply have more time to spend with my family. See ya.
All right, good stuff. Well, there you go. We've gone over it. Don't mind the shirt. We're getting rid of the shirt. He doesn't seem like a bad guy to me. I think that he's just a little confused, needs a little bit of help. He's a little scared and confused, and he needs to meet some real, like, genuine and nice trans people and spend some time with them. That's how I was deprogrammed, man. I used to be like, I was full-fledged conservative, dude. Okay? I was like, I hate trans people types conservative. So trust me, if you just spend some time around trans people, like genuinely and honestly, you will find the way, okay? Just give it a shot. Tipster! I heard the person who runs this stream is hella based. Tipster, did you stream this week? You better have streamed this week. Or if you haven't yet, you better get going on it. You did? Let's go! W's in the chat for Tipster. Tipster has been having some trouble getting motivated to stream lately. I messaged him last week. And multiple times, incredible work. Wonderful Tipster. We need to talk sometime, okay? On stream, my friend. I'm not embarrassed of you, and I never will be again. And I'm sorry that I ever was. For a while there, I will be honest with you, I was a little bit worried about my image. I didn't want to, like, you know, rock the boat or anything. I don't care anymore. You are welcome on my stream anytime, my friend. I didn't even know you were embarrassed of me. It wasn't that so much that I was embarrassed of you. That's the wrong way to put it. What I mean is, we've talked about it. It's the thing we've talked about, where it's like you were a little bit worried about impacting my image because of that video that I made with us. It felt like I was acting like I was being embarrassed of you, and I don't like that. So I'm sorry. I will never do that again. You are welcome on my stream whenever you want, and I will support you openly. My haters were rabid. I don't care. They can be as rabid as they want. My mental health is fresh as ever. I'm in your corner. Hi, thanks so much for watching and making it to the end of the video. I just wanted to let you all know that I love and appreciate everybody in my community, whether you can support me financially or just by liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. It helps way more than you know. That being said, I do want to give a very special thanks to my tier 4 subs, which would be Space Timid and Hot Take Andy. And thanks so much to my monetary subscribers from any of the tiered subs or anybody who gives me money in any form, including going to my Patreon shop, donating money to me directly. It all helps way more than you know. If you do decide to help me financially, you can get some really cool perks like early access to content, exclusive access to censored videos, also some really cool badges next to your name. Even if you can't afford a monetary subscription, just watching, sharing, and commenting on my content helps way more than you know. Thanks again, and I will see you all in the next video.